If you've worked in a corporate organization and had the pleasure, or misfortune, of implementing a new software, you might know that consultants can cost more than the software itself the first year. And there's a good reason for that. The best software is absolutely worthless unless it's being used well and in alignment with the processes and goals of the organization. And what does this have to do with working with an expert? Listen on to find out in this episode of Leverage Your Spark. Welcome to Leverage Your Spark. I'm Brandy Lawson. This actually happens more often for companies now that there are so many software options available. It typically goes a bit like this. An executive or business owner hears that someone else is using this thing that is life-changing and the best thing ever. And now the department or company signs up for an account, does the 2-week trial, but nobody ever really figures out how or why to use this thing. It can feel worthless, like just one more thing or too complicated to set up. And this is why the value of software is really 30% about getting the right tool and 70% in how it's used. The whole point of introducing yet another piece of tech in business is actually very similar to the point of hiring experts. It's to accelerate growth and improvement. The best software will make it easier for the humans to do the human part of their job and take the burden off of them of doing all the things that could be done and usually done better by software. And even what's possible with software is changing. Hello, AI. The purpose of software is not to be just another fee that gets paid for something that doesn't get used. Wondering how an expert could help with your tech or software? At Fiery Effects, we're experts in strategy, websites, analytics, smart business, and technology. Plus, we know a thing or two about getting the most from working with experts. Find out how to fire up your effectiveness by booking a consult with us at fieryeffects.com/experts. When considering or implementing new software, I highly recommend booking 2 to 3 recorded training sessions with an expert to have them show you how to set up and get a foundation started for your needs. To be most valuable, these training sessions must have specific goals and defined outcomes to really work well. And to elevate the value of your software even further, talk to an expert or external agency as you consider specific software solutions, or even just to figure out how to go about addressing challenges or the problems you're having that makes you consider adding software. Sometimes software is the solution. Sometimes it's not. Or sometimes it's just part of the solution. Often, we can't see how to use software or technology until we have a specific kind of problem. Or we have to see how other people are using it before we can envision what it might look like for us. We've got a client that also runs a marketing agency who wanted to have her team be more effective and efficient, but really had no idea how to go about addressing that. She and I started chatting, talked about some of the ways that the Fiery Effects team is set up and the tools that we use to make our work effective. During one of those sessions, I showed her a tool called Workona. It's a Chrome extension, which is the little piece of software that runs in a browser. It lets us create workspaces that we use for internal processes as well as client work. Every client has a specific workspace where their links are all together with their information and assets. For internal processes like running reports or marketing activities, those also each have a workspace with links to all the needed websites, information, and assets. Now, this probably doesn't sound revolutionary to someone who doesn't switch between multiple clients or projects, or only has one function they're operating in every day. But for a person who works in a marketing department or agency and constantly switching between projects and clients, working on a project up until there's a meeting and then needs to switch gears and go into the meeting, having separate workspaces is almost priceless. It means that all the tabs you have open are preserved, no panic about losing a tab, and all the resources for any client or project are all together and can be opened with a single click when needed. When you harness an expert to help use software tools correctly, you actually get the full benefit of having the software. An expert helps with the critically important setup, then can get an understanding of the entire lay of the land so that your needs can be effectively matched up with the available features and the full value of the technology experienced. It's the shortcut from how do I use this to this is life-changing. This season, there will be several episodes that directly cover tips, tricks, and hacks when it comes to working with technology. Leveraging experts to better use software is just the start. In the next episode, we'll get into the timing of hiring an expert and answer the question, when's the right time to get outside help? Ready to hire an expert to fire up the effectiveness of your tech? Book a consult with us at fireeffects.com/experts.